Hi guys, welcome back to the Totally Magic channel and another great trick. Now this one's called the Magician's Card Trick for a reason, because we're going to invite three famous magicians to help us with the performance. But first of all, you say to a spectator, I want you to create your own fate by shuffling these cards. Now they will shuffle the cards. The card on the face of this deck has a value, and that you've arrived at by fate. Let's take a look. A 7, a value of 7. Of course, if you had shuffled a bit longer or a little bit less, you would have arrived at another value in the pack. But you've arrived at the number 7. I want you to remember that number. Okay? And just in case we forget later on, can you just put this in your pocket safely? We're going to use that number that you arrived at by fate. Remember, fate is designed to happen. We're going to use 7 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from your shuffled deck. The card on the face of this will be your chosen card. But I want to break the rules. You see, I'm going to give you 3 pathways to your fate, your destiny, your chosen card. So I'm going to deal out some more cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get a choice of which pathway to take to your chosen card. This one, or this one. You want this one here. I'm going to look away and I want you to remember the playing card on the face of this packet. Remember that card. We're now going to use 3 very special magicians. I'm going to deal out 3 hands of cards. 1 hand of cards for each of our magicians. The magicians we've chosen each bring to the table a special skill in magic. What I'd like you to do is to think and concentrate on that card that you chose. Keep it in your mind. And the reason I want you to think of your card is because the first magician that's going to help us is Mr. Derren Brown. And he can read your mind. B-R-O-W-N, Derren Brown. The second magician that's going to help us brings that element of card magic to the table. Mr. David Blaine. B-L-A-I-N-E, David Blaine. And our third and final magician needs to be someone that's sadly passed over, that's no longer with us. And this magician, I think, is one of the great entertainers, or was one of the great entertainers, the late, great Paul Daniels. And he's going to bring the spiritual collection of all of this magic together. D-A-N-I-E-L-S, Paul Daniels. Now, of course, you picked a number, a random number by fate, a 7. We'll use that number to lose your card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how do we go about finding your card with the aid of these magicians? Well, it's all in your hands, literally. I want you to take the cards. I want you to ask those 3 magicians to find your card. Say the words, find my card. And if you spell out find my card, F-I-N-D-M-Y-C-A-R-D. What was your card? The 10 of Hearts? And there indeed is the 10 of Hearts. Practice, and as always, enjoy what you do. Hope you enjoyed that card trick. Here is the tutorial for the Magician's Card Trick. Now, although this effect is a self-worker, and also it's been around for a long time, this was first published in the late 1920s, so it's not far off 100 years old. But over the past couple of days I've been working on this routine, which I think makes it much more appealing. So that I didn't forget it, I wanted to get it down on video and share it with you guys immediately, as I'm quite excited about this. I think it's a great card trick and a great storyline. So the three magicians I used, David Blaine, Paul Daniels and Derren Brown, is because you need a certain number of cards dealt. So you can adapt this trick at the end when you're dealing out and spelling their names to any magician you like. It could even be friends and family names that you deal out there, but there's got to be a certain number of characters for you to deal that number of cards. Anyway, on with the performance. If we just go through this, first of all, the spectator can shuffle the cards. There's no setup required at all. You can borrow the cards. Just make sure that there is a full deck of 52 cards, no jokers. So they shuffle the cards. You tell them to look at the card at the bottom of the shuffled deck. Now it doesn't really matter whether it's a low number, if it's a 2, a 3, an ace. It can be any number you like. Now this happens to be an 8, so we'll use this. Now what you do is you remove that, and you can either leave it in full view, or as I did, get them to put it in their pocket as security just in case we forget that number. So we're going to use the number 8. That's their number arrived at by fate. You then deal 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you then need to deal that another couple of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you tell them that you're changing fate by giving them a different pathway to choose any one of these. All that happens is they can choose any one. You show them the bottom card, so the 3 of clubs in this example. You return this to the top of the pack and then just collect up the others on top. You then have to deal out 3 hands of cards. And this makes for good storyline because you say you're dealing a hand of cards to each of the 3 magicians that are going to help you. So as we deal these out, now it may not always be even amounts in the piles, just exhaust all the cards in the pack. So you deal out the 3 hands of cards, like that. We now have to go through spelling the 3 names. So you pick up the first packet and you deal down the name. Now I used Derren Brown, so I used the word Brown because I needed that number of characters. B-R-O-W-N. So I needed 5 cards. So if you want to use a different name, you can do. You then pick up the second hand of cards and say this is David Blaine. So B-L-A-I-N-E. So again, this one's got 6 cards. So you've got a 5, a 6. You pick up the third hand of cards, drop those on top, and then I spell Daniels. D-A-N-I-E-L-S. And you'll see this one's got 2, 4, 6, 7. So the numbers are 5, 6 and 7. They're the quantities you need. If you can come up with names that match that, then certainly do that. So that's all the cards dealt. You then put the remainder of the pack on the table and pick up those cards you just dealt, and you then say we're going to use that number we arrived at by fate to further lose your card, and you deal 8 cards from this packet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the rest of the cards go to the bottom. You're all done. The trick's over. They then use these words, find my card, and you spell that out. F-I-N-D-M-Y-C-A-R-D. The next card will always be their card. It works every time, a self-worker, and I think that's fantastic. As usual, I'm sure you'll probably adapt it to suit your own presentation style, but I do hope you enjoyed that one. Until next time, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, thumbs up, like, share, and all the usual. See you soon.